I think one of the biggest challenges currently facing our society is that we no longer live in a shared reality. I mean, we've got nearly a third of the country that lives in a mega conspiracy bubble that Donald Trump has been molding and shaping for the better part of the past decade. I mean, he was one of the main purveyors of the birther conspiracy with Obama, and he's probably the most prolific liar that the presidential office has ever seen. And he has been creating this universe that people now live in. And now we don't even have a shared set of facts that we can even have conversations about. That's why it's so important that we have messengers that can go into the lion's den and deliver a different set of facts that many of these people have probably never heard of. And I think one of the people who is doing that is somebody like Greg Casar, who recently went on to Fox News and pretty much delivered a pretty good smackdown to the Fox News host. And he's not just talking about these niche issues, he's talking about things that most Americans can agree with. Here he is talking about how we should not be tearing down some of the most precious programs while giving huge tax breaks to the billionaire class. If you guys do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe.
Look, I'm the chairman of the Progressive Caucus in Congress. I recognize some of the viewers at home disagree with me on a variety of social issues, but I think we can agree that Republican members of Congress have no business going along with Elon Musk slashing Social Security, destroying Medicaid and Medicare, firing veterans, all to give out tax breaks to billionaires. That's the message that Bernie Sanders has been consistent about. And I believe that should be the new message of the Democratic Party, which I think could bring some conservatives back into the Democratic Party if we agree that these programs we all paid for since literally World War II, Social Security, should be expanded and protected, not ransacked by billionaires that want more money for themselves. You should work to be able to keep your money, not to make Elon Musk richer. You should be paying taxes to improve your life, not to make some billionaire buy their 10th jet.
Yeah, and I could not agree more here. And I actually took a look at the polling to see just how popular taxing the wealthy among us actually was. And to my surprise, nearly 2/3 of the country believe that we should be taxing the wealthiest among us just a little bit more, especially when you contrast that with what Elon Musk is doing in the federal government. He's going around shutting down agencies, he's cutting off funding, he's slashing workers at the Social Security Administration, and then they're going to turn around and try to give huge tax breaks to the billionaires? I mean, I think most Americans are actually repulsed by that. These are programs that average Americans actually rely on. And to think that we're going to be taking those programs away to give tax breaks to the wealthiest among us is absolutely insane. I don't think anybody should disagree with this. And that's why it's a good message to bring to Fox News and to deliver in a clear and concise way like this. Here he goes on to talk about how Republicans actually are coming after your Social Security.
To be fair, I don't think many of your Republican colleagues have any interest in touching Social Security, but I want to keep moving on here. Your colleague Ro Khanna.
But to be fair, President Trump and Elon Musk just announced that they are closing Social Security offices and going to ask seniors and people with disabilities to go check in person at Social Security offices that they've closed. And in rural areas or really suburban areas, that may be really hard to do. And then they'll call those Social Security recipients, quote, fraudsters, and cut off their benefits. That's what they've announced. And Commerce Secretary, who's a billionaire himself, just said on television, oh, if my grandma misses a Social Security check, I think he said my mother-in-law misses a Social Security check, she won't complain. Well,
but you're on the DOGE subcommittee, though.
So Fox News definitely tried to slip in a little bit of bullshit there, but Greg Casar was ready to counter it so effectively. I mean, Elon Musk has gone around and he's, like I said, fired a whole bunch of people from the Social Security Administration. They cut off the phone lines, and I think maybe they brought some of them back. But right now, he's talking about getting people to go into the Social Security offices to prove that they're alive. I mean, what an absolute disaster that would actually be. Now, he might be doing a little bit of a reversal on that one, but we'll just have to see how it goes. But to think that all of our seniors have been paying into Social Security their whole lives and have never missed a payment, and now they actually might miss a payment because Elon Musk has been so damn reckless with how he has handled things, is is something that lands with the American people. Why would we be jeopardizing the most effective program in human history? Also, Elon Musk can get his rocks off by tearing things down in the federal government. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. And, it's probably not insane to think that Fox News just does not cover these issues in that way. They cover Elon Musk like he's some sort of god that can fix every problem. And so for Greg Casar to be able to come bring the facts and bring the message is what we need to do. They then go on to talk about how Republicans are also coming after your Medicaid.
At home may not know, Elon Musk makes $8 million a day from the federal government. Why are they looking at cutting Medicaid, which serves single moms, people with disabilities, or Social Security, instead of looking at the billions of dollars from the corporate class? It's because those corporations fund those Republican campaigns. I think that what's important for folks to know at home, again, even if you may disagree with me on this social issue or that one, is that every Republican member of Congress right now is looking to cut Medicaid.
To be clear,
over
though,
70% of Republican voters are opposed to Medicaid cuts, but the senator from Nebraska, North Dakota, you just had on, is talking about passing a bill next week to slash Medicaid by over $800 million. I mean, how is that right? How is that representing the working class person in rural America? I don't get it.
Now, I think he may have got his numbers a little bit wrong there, because the budget proposal that the Republicans just passed and that Trump actually signed off on actually calls for $880 billion in cuts from the Energy and Commerce Department. And there's no way to cut that much out of that committee unless you take a severe cut in Medicaid. So Greg Casar is absolutely correct to point out that Republicans, they're coming after not only your Social Security and making it less efficient, but they are coming after your Medicaid. And just to think, 1 in 5 people rely on Medicaid for their health care. And I think it's nearly half of the children in the United States also rely on Medicaid to get their health care. And how is it that we have an administration that is going around burning down the federal government from the inside out, and then they're wanting to take these programs away from the people who need it most? I mean, it is just absolutely disgusting that an administration would even think to do something like this. And you'll always notice they're always talking about cut, but they never talk about the revenue side of the equation. Why do they never ever talk about raising taxes on the wealthy class in this country and instead just prefer to cut programs that most Americans rely on? It is absolutely disgusting. And then I'll show you this one last clip where they're talking about all of the corruption that is just right out in the open with this Trump administration.
Out against money being taken away from their taxpayer pockets and being handed out in federal contracts. So we should be having the conversation about how is it that Elon Musk, who makes $8 million a day from federal contracts, as you just said, why is he looking for even more contracts? It was just reported he's trying to land a contract with the FAA so that he can get billions of dollars for Starlink out of that. He was trying to land a huge contract with the State Department until he got caught by the press. We should agree, whether you're a Democratic or a Republican president, you shouldn't be allowed to appoint a billionaire to the government and then for him to look for billions of dollars in contracts for himself. That's corruption at its finest, and we need a Republican Party and a Democratic Party that's willing to speak out against that kind of corruption.
Well, clearly President Trump thinks Elon Musk brings a whole lot to the table, being such a wildly successful businessman.
Well, I mean, he brought hundreds of millions of dollars to his campaign.
I love the quick clap back there. Well, Donald Trump must think that Elon brings something to the table. Well, yeah, he did. He brought hundreds of millions of dollars to get Donald Trump into the White House. And now he's going around the federal government and he's trying to rig the system in his favor. And I think that most American people are actually repulsed by that idea at all. How is it okay that we have the wealthiest man in the world who built his wealth off the back of America, our regulations, our rule of law? He got himself all the way up to the wealthiest man in the world, and now he is going into our government with a lighter and trying to burn the whole thing down. How is that okay? And it's really good of Greg Casar to be pointing this stuff out, because I don't think Fox News ever talks about this kind of stuff. Do you think that people know that Elon Musk makes $8 million a day? Do they know that he's got billions upon billions of dollars in federal contracts, and that he did indeed go after agencies that were investigating him? He went after agencies that might cause him headaches in the future as far as regulations go. I mean, the American people, I just do not think are down for that. But if you're watching Fox News day in and day out and you're not getting your news from anywhere else, you might not have even heard about that before. So I think it's the absolute right thing to do is for Greg Casar to go in here and start laying all these facts out. He's also providing a better message for the future, a better story for the future, and how the government can actually work for you. And he was just very good at staying on message. The Fox News host tried to cut him off here and there, but he just kind of steamrolled right through it to get the message out. So I think he did an excellent job here, and I think we have to start doing more of this because the 2026 midterms, they're going to be here before we know it. And we have got to start picking these people off and bringing them into our coalition, because I think more Americans than not do not like what they see with this administration. And you also notice that Greg Casar isn't saying that we don't care about all of these other niche issues, but when you're coming onto Fox News, you have to build a message and a narrative that is going to appeal to more voters. But that doesn't necessarily mean we are throwing all those other things away. It's just about bringing the right message to the right set of people. So, yeah, I absolutely think he did a terrific job here. Like I said, we need to start building a coalition now because the midterms will be here before we know it. And with all of this corruption, with all of the bad behavior and scandalous behavior brought on by this Trump administration, we are already seeing in the polling that the American people are pissed off. And we have to turn that rage into a coalition that can fight back against this authoritarian takeover. So I will leave it there for now, guys. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. Like I said, we got to build something here on the left that adequately pushes back against this right-wing media ecosystem that ferments all of this MAGA brain rot that is plaguing our society right now. So if you do like what I do here, please do remember to hit that subscribe button. It is free. And if you guys want to see how the Trump administration is stripping away due process rights of innocent people so he can ship them off to an El Salvadorian prison where they will likely be subjected to violence, torture, and possibly even death, please do watch and share that video on your screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.